Let's switch gears, if you don't mind, a bit. Let's talk about crime. And do you think we have a perception in the city that we have high crime?
Oh, sure. But what city doesn't? I mean, we act like we're isolated from everything. Philadelphia's had, what, 300 murders? New York City's had 400. New Orleans had almost 200. We've had 29 in the last year. I mean, that's a national problem. For the first time at the last mayoral conference, U.S. Conference of Mayors, Mayor Nutter and Mayor Landau of New Orleans led the charge in terms of saying something has to be done because this is a national crisis that's being overlooked. And when you look at it, it's mostly young African-American males killing another young African-American males. There are 73 cities where that murder rate is 80 to 90% plus African-American against another African-American. Now, if that doesn't seem like it's a problem, then why do we have it everywhere? Why do we have it in Chester, Philadelphia, Camden? Look at poor Camden. And yeah, you got to do the best you can against crime. That's the way it is.
Which brings me to my next question, Mayor. Let's talk about a trip that was taken by your police chief and chief of staff
right.
to High Point, North Carolina. Now, they went there to learn more about the ways they've used to,
Right.
I guess, attack crime, the rise in crime.
Yeah, it's the Kennedy model.
Yeah, so do you think that'll work here in
The
Wilmington?
Boston model, Kennedy model. We'll try, but it's been tried. What a lot of people don't realize, we tried that program years ago when Carl Schnee was the U.S. attorney here. It was tried where they did the thing of talking to those who were considered dangerous and all of that, and repeat offenders. The problem was we didn't have the social services. And if you don't have the social services going along with the enforcement, it's sort of a broken program. Okay. And so it didn't work the first time. And also, it hasn't worked in other cities where they've changed. They started out that way and they changed it. Now remember that High Point's been doing this for 15 years. So it's a different ball game for them. They like it, they've done it, we've looked at it. The chief likes the aspects of it. We've already met with the state people and some social service people. So if you put the two together, the potential there is good. Okay. But you still have to deal with the other problems that are now going rampant in these communities. The unemployment issues, the housing issues, the health issues, the education issues. You can't have a 59% dropout rate and then say, why do you have crime? I think that's sort of a stupid question. If you're kicking your kids out of school that have no skills, where do you think they're going to go?
But the model explain that model to us, in that it deals with like a lower level criminal.
What they do is the bad guys, it's not the ones they really are talking to. It's the guys that are sort of underneath that have a record, they're in there somewhere doing something. The bad guys, they just go after. They just arrest them. Then the middle group, or so the people that are somewhat in there but not terrible, they try to say, look, stop what you're doing. If you don't, they show the examples. This is what's going to happen to you.
And so social services would come in and help rehabilitate
and then they say,
them.
Honestly, it is not a con game where you say, we'll try to help you with education, we'll try to help you with jobs or housing. You've got to have the different social services in place so that when you tell a guy we'll try to help you, that you really mean it. But my point is, unless you deal with the massive social problems that we see now in certain communities, you still are going to have crime.
You know, we touched on your budget address next month being the last one
right.
you're ever going to give for now. But the number of people who want your job is growing.
There's a lot of them.
And if you'll play along with us.
They can be foolish all they want, I don't care.
We want to do a word association, so I'll name the candidates, and I just want your honest take on.
Well, if I don't feel to give you honesty, I won't answer.
Okay. We'll start with Bill Montgomery, your chief of staff.
Well, he knows the city very well. Would make a good mayor. I mean, there's no question about that. Politics is not politics as mayor is different. You can be a good administrator, but you got to be also a good politician. The two are interlinked. You cannot separate one from the other. I have to do both. Everything I do, I have to look at the political side of what the consequences are, as well as the administrative side. And then you also got 5 unions you got to worry about those agreements as to how to keep them in place.
Dennis P. Williams.
Good man. I disagree a lot with Dennis on different things. Like he said, he wasn't going to support, he wouldn't support the hotel if it was up to him. Well, I think that's a big mistake, but he's a good man. Dennis is more like me. We're both like, if you're not careful, we're like bulls in a china closet. But he's a good man.
Scott Spencer.
I think he's a very good man, too. I think he's very smart, very intelligent, would make a good mayor. But again, if you don't have the political side, and you can have all the daydreaming you want, but once you get in there, you better know what you're doing. Most people don't understand how government works. People who come out of the private sector try to go into government, or from another level of government going into this level of government. They are not the same, and you can't run government like a business. You hear that dumb statement, we got to run this like a business. You can't do that. It's a totally different ballgame.
Reverend Derek Johnson.
I like Derek, but I don't think he knows very much about the operational side of city government. I think he is good at what he does, and I think that's best for him, really.
Robert Marshall.
Good man. I don't know about his knowledge about city government yet, but he's a good senator. Whether or not he'd be really good at doing the mayoral stuff, I don't know.
And we have
Legislative work is much different than administrative work.
couple more. Kevin Kelly. You know Kevin.
Yeah, I differ with Kelly on a lot of things, but his heart's there. He has good intentions. He does understand most of the finances of the city. So well, as differencing, it would mean I go out and champion Kelly, but I think that he's not a dummy. He's really caring. So I think he has potential there.
And finally, bail bondsman Robert Bovell.
Well, I don't think he knows anything about the city. I don't think he knows about the running of the city, how it. He talks about national issues. See, everybody that comes, any politician that's going to run in the city of Wilmington, talking about they're going to get employment, he's lying. Or he's just dumb. He don't know what he's talking about. Going to do a lot of social service. Going to convert all these, lying, or he's just dumb. They're going to convert neighborhoods that are poor, that have been poor for the last 40 years, and they're going to convert them now to nice neighborhoods. Don't know what they're talking about. So people who do all of these fancy-dancy, I'm going to make the world change, don't vote for them because they're not worth the spit that they, or the air that takes them to talk.
Wow. Well, let's talk about a hot issue, the African American History
It's not
Museum.
a hot issue, it's settled.
Okay.
When I make a decision, it's settled. I don't discuss.
So what do you think about the controversy that took place?
They made the controversy, I didn't. If you don't have a 501c3 certificate, what am I supposed to do about that? If you have not the resources to carry this out, what am I supposed to do about that? Number 3, I don't have to ask anybody. It's an executive decision. I think I was fair by allowing a committee review, by allowing proposals. I didn't have to do that.
So your mind was already made up?
No, I didn't say that.
Okay.
I said I allowed people to enter proposals. But if you don't meet the standards, you're out. And it doesn't going to do you any good calling me names, because you can call me names all you want. Listen, we should not be in segregated molds just because we're African American. We said we wanted to be part of the nation. Here you are now coming back saying to me, we want to segregate. Well, get your own money and segregate.
Well, let's end this on a positive note, Mayor.
That's positive, because it's going to happen, and it's going to be better, because it's going to be sustained, and it's going to be a great program for the whole city and the African American community.
Okay, so if a group wanted to name something after you in the future, tell us a place.
Where would it be?
Yeah, or what would you like?
I have no idea. It always bothers me about people naming things after you. There's a place I love, but I won't mention it.
Okay.
I think it's one of the most beautiful spots in the city.
Okay, well, that's kind of interesting. Well, what do you want to be remembered for as mayor?
Surviving, I guess.
I think people will remember you for being honest, brutally honest at times.
Yeah, well, I don't think it matters. The main point is that you did do the best you can with what you got. You know, I think I was blessed. I came out of a small little town in Ohio, 12,000 people. I never dreamed I would meet presidents, never dreamed that I would meet kings and queens and princesses and senators and stars of all this stuff, and to be given the grace and pleasure of serving people who believe in you and vote for you. Not that, and you know, when you're in politics, you know, everybody doesn't agree with you and everybody doesn't like you. And I always say, those are the people I don't deal with. Mm-hmm. You don't like me, tough. Find somebody else that's going to play games with you. Leave me alone, I'll leave you alone.
Well, will we see you around the city still once your term's over?
My daughter's doing a lot of work on things, and I'll see about. I was offered two positions, but I may not want to work. I love writing, and I wrote 2 books, and I would love to do research again, and I would love to teach. I like teaching, and I've done that before. And I like art. I like people who are artistic, because that's what makes the world go around, and where we all are the same in reality, because there's art in every nation, there's music in every nation, there's dance in every nation. And those are the things that tie us together, as opposed to language or the specifics of religion or politics or anything else. Art ties the world together, and language can, but it's harder to do that just through language.
Okay, well, we will look forward to seeing you after your term is up and seeing you around town.
Thank you.
Well, Mayor Baker, we can always count on you to speak your mind, and we appreciate that. So thank you for being our first person again this week.
Thank you.